and welcome to another classroom with your professor. I'm Allison Danger, and this is Woman's Herstory. I am stoked, you guys. This week is going to be amazing. As always, we're brought to you by Square Circle Cafe, sqcirclecafe.com. Make sure you get on the mailing list because there have been some really good coupons. Always great coffee and fantastic wrestling stories over there. Big shout out to the crew there. Absolutely adore them. Can't wait to restock soon. But I'm going to jump right in. We have a Shimmer OG, one of the original 18. Been with this girl all over the world. What, about 20 years now that we've been in each other's lives. We're in each other's town now. We're not quite neighbors, but I can almost see her place from my balcony, which is super duper cool. I'm not going to drag it out. You guys, it is the incomparable Cheerleader Melissa.
Oh my God, holy smokes, what an entrance. Hey, it's a pandemic party over here. What's up, Allison Danger? That's true. I can probably see your place from my place, actually.
I don't know. They just put a lot of like construction around my place, and my views have kind of been nipped in the bud. But Yakatomi Plaza is moving at the end of December anyway. We are going to change headquarters, so
Good.
I don't think it matters. But so what are you drinking? What do you got?
I got a sexy Chardonnay happening right here. 2019 Chardonnay. It's not even like that old. Just something to get, COVID, pandemic. Hey.
Girl, I got kombucha.
Matches my room.
I got kombucha. My kombucha matches your room.
I love kombucha.
I know. I'm hoping GTs will eventually sponsor me like they do the Scrubs podcast. I mean, I literally drink this stuff every day. But yeah, my label is purple, like your beautiful purple cloud room. Oh my gosh, I'm so in love with your room.
Thank you. Yes, very French inspired. It's the only room in my place that doesn't have any windows, so I decided to bring the outside in. And I found like one of Las Vegas like top muralists, which I'm really excited about. And I had her come in and I gave her my idea. Well, what's funny, the inspiration I really got it from, you'll crack up. I found a picture of Andrew Dice's Clay's house, and his dining room is painted in clouds. Yeah.
What?
So I'll send you that afterwards, but it's a picture of Andrew Dice Clay's dining room, and he has a cloud dining room, and I found it, and I was just like, I want that. And then I showed her, and she's like, cool, let's do it. So yeah, there's clouds on the ceiling, and it's very like lightweight and magical in here, and very airy and colorful. Yeah.
Put a wine fridge in there, and you'd be set.
I thought about it.
I know you have a wine fridge. I've been to your home.
Just not in here.
Not in here. Maybe you need a second one.
I know, a little mini one. That would be so epic. If I could find a space for it, I will. I'm like looking around right now. I'm like, ooh, thank you for the idea.
So you know what okay, so you see how you have that mirror behind you. Imagine if they created that look of a mirror, but when you open it, it's actually the front of a wine cooler.
That's a great idea, because they actually have that as like a jewelry one where if you open it, it's like you can hang your jewelry, but they need a wine fridge version.
They need a wine fridge version. Yes.
That's a great idea.
I'm not even a big wine drinker, and when I do, it's a red anyway, so I really don't need a fridge, but like, that's brilliant. I'm thinking we need to do like a home decor thing.
You're kind of going to want a fridge because you want it at like, because you're going to want your wines, your red wines at like 60 degrees.
Ooh,
Trust me, I know.
Between you and Lenny Leonard, you guys are like my wine gurus.
Yeah, you're going to want it at like 60 degrees because trust me, like if you don't have a wine fridge, and Las Vegas, like it gets unbearably hot one day and like crazy cold the next day, and that's not really good for red wine. And I've experienced that when I haven't had a wine fridge. I had like a wine rack, but the temperature fluctuated so much over the years that it actually like did it more harm than good. So you actually do want a wine fridge, even with the reds.
Okay. Oh, see, this is good to know. Now I'm going to know when we move,
That's right.
Hey, you're going to have to get me a wine fridge. Because
I
I
know.
mostly like, I cook
Or
with
come over here and enjoy some of my wine with me, and then we'll do the podcast together.
girl, as soon as we have that opportunity, do you realize I don't think I've hugged you all year?
No, I haven't done anything all year.
Yeah, I'm trying to, because I want to say we were talking about doing the coffee shop that's hidden in Koreatown in
Right.
Vegas
Mm-hmm.
and hitting up that vegan donut place.
Right.
Yes, there's some
Mm-hmm.
vegan donut place near your place that apparently is just,
Ooh,
I
an earring
know.
came out.
Oh no,
Yeah.
we're
I
having
know.
jewelry malfunctions live on
We
camera.
are. I know. The other half wet in my cleavage.
Well, why else do we have cleavage if it's not for jewelry and crumbs?
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, I find a lot of food there. It's, garlic bread's the
It's
worst. That's
funny
the
because
itchiest.
it's true.
This is the ridiculousness you get when we're reunited. I mean, but
I
legit,
know.
how long have we known each other?
Gosh, well, you just said in your commercial introduction like 20 years, and I was just like, oh God.
Because you broke in what, 99?
Huh?
When did you break in?
Yeah, I think 99. I don't remember. I try to put it all behind me.
Because I hit 20 years in
like
May.
Before I cared of remembering like what year, like what happened what year. But then like as you know, start hitting that like 20-year span, whatever, you're like, yeah, no, I wasn't even born then.
I was at a wrestling show over the weekend and I was helping someone who was 20, who's 23. I'm like, I was 23 when I broke in. And then I stopped and I go, 20 years ago, you were 3 years old when I had my first match.
Isn't that horrifying?
Oh my gosh.
Horrifying. It's horrifying.
Horrifying for sure. I'm like, y'all are just babies. Like I joke, I think about, you know, how old I would be to be their parent. And like some of these kids, I'm like, you would be my like year abroad in college, Mama Mia baby. Couple people I met over the weekend, I'm like, you would be that baby I ditched at prom. Like 15, 16, you know, in the mid 90s, we had that outbreak of like girls having babies and leaving them in the bathrooms at prom and then going back and dancing. I'm like, I remember when I had a baby. One, 'twas not easy. Two, I had fantastic medication options. So I wasn't getting up till the next day, but granted I had a C-section. So I was kind of strapped to the bed for a day.
Good for you. Good for you on the C-section. Good for you.
It was by necessity. Yes.
Yeah.
My child was 9 pounds, 3 ounces, and she was 2 weeks early.
Holy smokes. I honestly don't remember you telling me that. I really didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like,
but
without
no,
getting gory.
Because that's literally a VIP exit from what I told. It's a VIP exit. Like the child comes out unscathed because people don't know, like the kid gets really beaten up through the birth canal. So like it's a red carpet entrance into the world.
Without getting gory, Kendall got stuck. Kendall got stuck in the bone and ended up with like lacerations to her scalp.
Oh no.
And severely bruised. She ended up in the NICU for a couple of days. So yeah.
I have a feeling this is the conversation where all like the male viewers are like, okay, they all check out. Like we better change it before they all like check out of this.
Yeah. They were like, this was gonna be a much different episode.
Whoops.
Oh, but we'll get off the childbirth stuff.
2020.
Well, 2020, man, what a dumpster fire. What have you been doing? I mean, I know what you've been doing, but tell everybody what you've been up to since we've been trapped in our homes for the last 8 months.
Still trapped in our, yeah, definitely. I mean, 2020 still trapped in our homes. It's just been a really, really tough year. We're taking it very, very seriously. The only people that my husband and I stay in contact with, in-person contact, is our parents. And that's it. Our parents will come here, we'll go there, and we do it for them. My canceled all bookings for 2020, not taking anything. I've turned down everything. I'm still turning down everything, so lately, like I've just been purely like in pure like housewife mode, and like obviously like we were just talking about my cloud room earlier. I've gone like absolutely insane, and I think of like almost like repainted every single room of the house. I have like the most custom home. I know, like it's so fun now. So I've been really, lucky to be able to do that this year. I was training, I was training a couple girls at the beginning of the year. And it's just like really hard because that transition to in-person training to basically both of them training at the gym and sending me videos for me to critique, and just doing what I can from social distancing and um just online or text or communication. And it's come down to that. I've been very trust me, I'm very, very appreciative and very, very grateful that I've still been able to do that and been involved in the wrestling business in that aspect, as far as like training social distantly ish. So, but yeah, like, you know, I, I've been at home, I've been enjoying it, and I still got like my two students that makes me, and it makes me like super happy that I still get to, watch their progression.
That's awesome. And we have a shared student,
We do. One of
the
my girls is a shared student.
the unstoppable but very suplexible Lacey Ryan.
Very flexible.
Yeah.
Agreed.
She was episode 2 of this series, and she has just been fantastic. Recently making her Shimmer debut, which
Mhm.
is kind of full circle considering you and I were OG Shimmer peeps. We were
No, absolutely.
we were the original, and if I am correct, you are the longest running member of Shimmer.
I
You
am.
had the most consistent appearances
I
up
did.
until the eyebrow experience.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yep.
even then you still tried to come back to the building.
I did. I still made that episode. I think there was only like one set of tapings I couldn't make. And then obviously this last set of tapings due to COVID, I really, really wanted to be there. I know you were there
Yeah.
hosting commentary, but I just really wanted to be there. And I definitely miss everybody. I miss the girls and I miss the energy, but still playing it safe and obviously, for the better
Yeah.
in my situation at the moment. Yeah.
Totally understandable. And I mean, do you miss the
Yeah.
Berwyn Eagles Club?
Oh,
It's gotten a lot crowded over the years.
I don't know how to answer that. Well, I mean, the Berlin Eagles Club has been very good to us. I mean, we hold a lot of memories there. You have good days and have bad days, but you know what I mean? Like, let's be real. Like, if you miss Shimmer and you miss the insaneness, when you walk into the Berlin Eagles Club, like, you're just gonna like be like, like the memories here, the good and the
Yeah.
bad.
Oh, we've had so many memories over the years. I mean,
Yeah, I
we
know.
literally just celebrated 15 years
I
of
can't
Shimmer
believe
women's
that.
athletes.
You know what? It's so funny. Probably the reason why that I haven't acknowledged it too much on my social media is because I don't want to acknowledge that it's been 15 years.
We were such babies then. We were
I
innocent
know.
babies. And now we've
And it's
seen
not me
so
being
much.
mean at all. It's not me being mean at all. I just don't want to acknowledge that it really has been that long.
Yeah. I remember when Dave came to me, he's like, I got this idea. I'm like, awesome, let's do it. And we're both like, it's going to be like one show, one day. No one's ever going to get into this. 15 years later, Dave and I are very, very gray now.
God.
But I mean, you got to think about that. Let's look at that first episode. How iconic in terms of the Shimmer history was your match with Mischief?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. And I didn't expect it to be, iconic or a game changer or anything. It was just, and what was so great? Like, it wasn't until afterwards, it was like, you know, holy, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? Like, what happened? Like, what just happened? And it just like, it was a snowball and like just kept on like snowballing from there after that. It was just, great timing and pretty much the universe and the stars lining up.
It really was. It was like lightning in a bottle because I remember Dave and I putting together that first show. And
Mhm.
he goes, Melissa and Mischief, such different styles. Is
Right.
this going to be good? Or are we going to be like, oh no? And I'm like, well, they're both good wrestlers. So we're like, you know what? Let's throw it against the wall, see if it sticks. And
Uh-huh.
so it was be you and Mischief. Then it was going
Uh-huh.
to be me and Beth, and then Melissa, Mercedes, and Del Rey, right?
Right.
And so I'm kind of like watching you guys, and I'm looking, and you're both like so intent. And then I'm looking at Melissa, and why do I keep saying Melissa? Mercedes and Sarah going, okay, they look super intense. So I just looked at Beth and I go, you want to do some Gaga? And she goes, yup. I go, cool, see you out there. And that was the bulk of our match because we were like, we knew you guys were going to be hard hitting. We knew Martinez and Del Rey was going to be hard hitting. So me and Beth were like, we ain't going to do anything but shenanigans. Let's have some
That was
fun.
probably for the better because it changes up the flow of the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We were the sherbet. We were the palate cleanser.
Right.
And I think it worked out really, really well. But I mean,
That's
I remember
interesting you're telling me
watching
that
you.
because I don't know that. That's the first time I've ever heard
Yeah.
anybody say anything about my match like backstage. We normally
Yeah.
don't. I normally don't get that much like feedback or what anybody's saying. Like sometimes I do,
Yeah.
but that's really interesting. Like I had no idea like those conversations were happening backstage while our match was going down. You know, and especially during a match that was like such a game changer for, you know, me and Chiff. And just like in that match, there were just so many like aha moments, like for me and for her, and, you know, and possibilities and opportunities, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that's one of the things you like is like as a booker and a promoter, like to watch that and be like, oh my gosh, this is magic happening. Then you guys had a feud, and then you guys teamed up, and we had Mischief, and I got to be opposite you guys at least once and had fun with that. And because I got to be opposite you when you teamed with Natty Neihart at Shimmer, the one weekend that we had Natty in there, that was always fun. And then we had one of the few main events I ever did was, if I remember correctly, it was you and Schiff versus me and Del Rey.
We did do that, didn't we?
We did do that. Yes, because I think you beat me. Yes, you did. Yeah, you won that one.
Oh, how do you know everything?
That was the 2008.
Oh my God. Can we like
Yes. It was right before I got married. It was right before I got married. It was the show before there. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And it was Mischief versus the Dangerous Angels, one of the few main events I've done. So yeah, that was fun. I mean, we've had our battles, man. You and I've wrestled in California. We've wrestled in Chicago. We've wrestled in Pennsylvania. I'm trying to think if we've wrestled anywhere else. I don't know, but yeah, we've had some fun. We've had some tags, some singles, some three-ways. I think I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. This is just my opinion. I think the biggest match that you and I had, 2007, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Queen's Cup. It's on Click Wrestle. It is available on clickwrestle.com.
I remember Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Who can forget Pottstown, Pennsylvania?
Right? With the main street being called High Street.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like
that was the whip through the chairs match.
Oh yes.
Where you wheelbarrowed me through the chairs. I rewatched
You were such a good sport.
You did okay, so remember how I got knocked out at the very end?
Everything.
No. Do you remember how I got knocked out at the very end, right? Have you ever watched?
It was the last chair.
It was the last chair. Somebody was holding the chair in place.
I didn't know that.
No.
You didn't tell me that.
I did not know. Well, I got knocked out for like a hot second. I don't really remember the end of that match, but I watched it back a couple months ago.
And I'm only a couple months ago.
Yes, because I have the footage. So.
Oh my God.
I don't put it anywhere because clickwrestle.com is where you go get that footage, folks.
It is. Clickwrestle.com is where you go get that footage. But all the history of me and Danger you will ever want.
Everything's there. Like, there. Yeah, like all the old chick fights are on there. Everything's on there, right?
Chick fight,
pretty much if it's women's wrestling, it's on Click Wrestle.
Pretty much. The best women's wrestling.
Right?
The game changer, the innovators.
And I always tell people too, I'm like, if you have a show, don't put it online for free. Get in touch with Click Wrestle, make your money and know that it's going to be seen. and seen
Mhm.
properly. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I watched it back over the summer and I was going through it and I'm like, not bad, not bad, not bad. We're done. Nope. Boom. Cracked the back of my head on that chair. And it's because somebody was holding it in place and like kind of like standing behind it, and not a small dude either. And I'm like, bro.
That
But
sucks.
that,
I'm so sorry.
no, that's not your fault. That was that guy's fault. But I mean, I feel like that possibly was one of our best matches.
Oh, for sure.
We
That
kicked
was a
the
good time.
crap out of each other.
Yeah. That
Mostly
was
you.
such a good time.
You beat me up.
I
We always have good
know.
times. So, but like,
I'm so glad you're saying that.
so I say that as like a highlight of the times that we've met up, but like, what are those matches that were like highlights for your career? Like those quintessential Cheerleader Melissa matches that you will always go to be like, you have to see this to get a feel for me. These are the matches I'm most proud of.
Oh my gosh. You know, you'll crack me up, or you'll crack up, because
Oh, I'll
one of
crack you
my
up too.
you always crack me up, but you're gonna crack me up after I mention this one match. But it's, to this day, like literally, it'll always be one of my favorite matches at Shimmer. Is Thunder Kitty.
My gosh. When we had that, me and Kevin Harvey had that run
Yeah,
of
tell me
just,
about that meeting first, because like the whole buildup is like everything.
so it became sadly almost like a game with me and Kevin Harvey of just going, okay, top tier person, Thunder Kitty. Because we knew in our heart of hearts, Thunder Kitty could handle the heat. She could get in there and she was going to have good matches with people. And she
Right.
just was not getting those opportunities. So we're like, no one would ever expect it. Thunder Kitty Melissa, Thunder
Right.
Kitty and Kana. We called Thunder Kitty Kana, took us 18 months to get.
Mm-hmm.
Every single weekend we pitched it.
Because
Thunder
it
Kitty and
wasn't being
Kana.
taken.
Prazak wasn't doing it. And I'm like, dude, come on. Thunder Kitty and Kana. Thunder Kana. So like we threw it to you and we like proved that she could hang with you and you guys had such a fun match. And then she proved that she could hang with Kana and we're like, we should give her Soraya Knight next.
Oh my God. I'm so glad I opened the door for her then.
Yes. No, that was great because I think very highly of Thunder Kitty. I feel like
too.
I feel like she is one of those people who truly understands what her gimmick is, who she is. I mean, she lives the gimmick. She really is a 94-year-old pro wrestler, you know, with her old school Mildred Burke tights. And like, you remember the commentary about her and Luthez have heat. That's why we could never book them together again.
Oh my
You go
God.
back and watch the Shimmer from the Collective. There's a whole backstory between her and Luthez.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's a great one. And I totally forgot about that match.
Oh, how could you?
I've seen a lot of matches.
Come on, how could you? Like, first of all, like when she first came in, like to Shimmer, I just remember thinking, like, oh my God, like, I was like, I had so much respect for her, just owning everything, like owning like her gimmick, and then like from her like onesie, her one piece that she wore, that was very like 1950s, like down to like the details, like the little details of her hair, her makeup, her entrance robe, which was like very like kind of like, it was very from the era that like she was representing. And I remember like watching, I don't think I watched a lot of her matches, but I remember seeing her when she get herself put together. I'm just like, dang it, good for you. Like, good, like you are owning every little bit of this and killing it. Like, she's just, I mean, she had such a like different gimmick and a different presence, but she always had a very strong presence. And which I definitely like bow down to and respected like anytime she walked. And it's funny because like she probably like never knew this about about how I felt about her until like her and I like finally connected for that match, and another reason why it's just like one of my favorite like matches is because when her and I did connect for that, she was just like, I'm sorry, this, I'm not your style. I'm probably like, I'm probably the last person like you want to wrestle or work with or whatever. And I was just like, no, you are everything I want to work with right now. I was just like, you're doing everything. Like every single, like, what do you got? We're doing it. Because like, it's so entertaining. Like you have the yin and yang, and luckily I've had like a little bit of experience before connecting with Under Kitty of realizing that I'm I'm a very good straight man for the comedic person.
Yes.
I'm very good for that. Like, and I've realized that like all of my more entertaining matches have been with girls that are like completely like opposite of me. Just very complimentary. We elevate each other, as much as we can, and it's just been entertaining for a good time. So when that happened, I was just like, no, I was just like, we're doing this, everything. We're going all the way on this. And it was such a party. Like for me, I mean, I've had like great matches with, I've had great matches with great girls, and Thunder Kitty is like a great girl. But I mean, this was like clearly like a great match on its own. It's definitely in its own category, just like entertaining and memorable.
I
You know,
I had such a fun time with it. And like, she's a fun person to work with.
yeah.
Yeah, she's just such a hoot. I'm like, what are you up for? Oh man, I'm up for anything. What you want to do? And I'm like, all right, let's do this. You know, like, and like if you saw her at the collective, man, she's gotten in a really good shape. Not that she wasn't before, but really she's taken pandemic and really done great. And she always has those awesome robes. And I love it.
Yeah.
I think shows are better for having Thunder Kitty on them.
She brings something so different and so special every time. And I think a big part of that is like the nostalgia that just comes with her gimmick. You have the wrestling fans out there, that, are a little bit older and like, remember like, the older days. And like, she just brings so much happiness to that. Even if she's a heel, she just,
Right.
you know what I mean? You see her come out and then it just brings like, it just puts a smile on your face. It's just like, yes, you're owning it. Like, and especially when she does the classic moves, like it makes me so happy. Like something as simple as like, like a monkey flip or something. I'm just like, yeah.
Like monkey flip is like the perfect high spot. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like she just did a 450 off the top for us.
Anything. Or the claw.
Yeah.
Like,
I love the claw.
Oh, the claw. I'm just like running around backstage with like my hands up in the air. And I'm like, she did the claw.
She gives you that feel good wrestling. Like when you
She
walk away from those
does.
matches, you
I feel good right now
good.
just talking about her.
I
She's
know.
gonna
I'm like,
love
oh
us
my
when she's
goodness.
watching this podcast.
If this was
She'll
the
reach
end
out
of
to
the
us after this.
if this was the end of the episode, we would leave on such a happy note, but it's not the end because you have to talk to me some more. What other matches? What other matches? And it
Why?
doesn't
No,
even
I'm
have to
kidding.
be it doesn't have to be just from Shimmer. It could be anywhere, anything. I mean, girl, you've been all over the world. You've been through the European scene, you've been through the Japanese
Yeah.
scene. You did Mexico, right?
Yes, I did do
Yeah.
Mexico. Yeah.
You did Mexico, you've done the US, you've done Canada. Like, I mean, how many countries
Oh.
have you wrestled in? Do you know off the top of your head?
No, I do not. But you listed most of them. I did India too.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you did
India.
Oh, wow.
I
How
did
was
India
that?
too for Rika King. Remember when Impact like partnered with basically they partnered with the Indian television network and came up with Rika King.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I did that. I did India. Yeah, the European scene. Remember I met your husband before I met you.
Wait, before you met me?
No, I mean
Oh,
before.
no, you met
I'm sorry,
before I met him.
you two
Yes.
met. Before you two
Yes.
met.
Before he and I met.
Yeah.
My brother's the same. He met my husband before I met my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. That was funny because I remember like the first time I was like, wait a minute. I know you. That was cool.
Yeah,
And
I
then,
imagine it was Germany, right? You guys probably met in Germany.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I remember I went and worked for like Ingo GSW.
Yes.
It's
That's
like
where we
German
met.
Stampede Wrestling.
That's where we met.
No, really?
It was
Oh my
GSW.
God.
Yeah. It was like the International Invasion 2007.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes. Those were fun times too.
Oh, I love the
Oh, like
German
Germany.
scene.
Germany's such a trip. It's such a pretty country. It's cold in the winter though, but oh my gosh, it's a really pretty country.
Oh,
But yeah, Germany, like a lot of England, Mexico. I can't. Oh, Taiwan for All Japan Pro Wrestling.
what? I didn't know you
Yeah,
went to Taiwan. That's how gorgeous is Taiwan?
it was really pretty. Even crazier though, it was for All Japan. Like not All Japan women, it was for All Japan
Oh my
men.
gosh.
Yeah, and I don't know if I honestly am not sure if we were the first female match for All Japan or not, or we were certainly like one of the earliest. But
Okay.
they did it, but they did a tour in Taiwan, and somehow, I magically got contacted for it. And yeah, so it was me and another girl, and we were like the one and only women's match in Taiwan for All Japan Wrestling.
That's crazy. Like, how cool of a story is
It
that, though? Like,
it was so crazy. Like everything about that was so crazy. And remember Big Daddy V?
yes.
Like he was on that tour, and like, oh, I miss him so much. Like after that tour, like I feel like I gained a brother. Like that guy was like the nicest person on the planet that I've ever met.
Mm.
And then yeah, so like, oh, like he was like really nice, and like it was just so, I mean, it was, that whole trip was just so surreal because I remember like being in the hotel, and I went to, and the gym was on the top floor, which was really cool because it was all windows. So it was like all city view, no matter where you were working out in Taiwan. And then I get on the bike and I'm doing like cardio, and it was cool because the bike is facing outdoors. So I feel like I'm riding through the sky in Taiwan, whatever. And out of all people, like Muta gets on the bike next to me. I'm like, hey, we're doing like cardio together. I'm like, what the heck
What?
is happening?
What is your
I was like,
life?
I was just like, what is going on right now? I'm doing cardio with like Muta on like the top floor of the hotel.
Oh my
Hey,
gosh.
I'm like marking out like super hard in my brain. I'm like, oh, all right, and it was just yeah, it was just crazy. And then like I remember like in the main event of the matches, we got to go out there as seconds or whatever. Then I got to like have like participate in like little parts of the matches and stuff like that involved like Muta. And I'm just like, this is so weird. But I was enjoying every minute of it because I know it was like a one-time tour in Taiwan, and it probably wasn't ever going to happen again. So I was enjoying every moment, but it was like very surreal. Like everything was just so surreal about that.
These are those beautiful moments that people don't realize, like, we get in wrestling. Those
Right.
beautiful experiences of being in a beautiful country, and then you're just trying to do your cardio and you're just sitting next to Muda, and it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
I
like,
shared the
okay.
locker room with him once, and I just remember he was at the Ring of Honor locker room and he was on the other side, and me, Dan Maff, and Chris Daniels were all just sitting in a row, just looking, just staring at him, just staring. And he'd look at us and we'd all kind of look away, and we're just like, this is our locker room. Because it's cool to have him there.
I mean, even something like that would have like tripped me out. You know what I mean? Like would have freaked me out a little, but no, got on the machine right next to me. We're riding through the sky of Taiwan. Okay.
Cool.
Like he probably doesn't like, he'll probably never like remember that, but that was like, what a.
Was this back before like selfies too? See, it's not like you could just
be
like,
totally. Oh man.
Oh
man. I would have totally like pulled some selfie stuff for sure. Yeah, it was way before that. I don't even remember when this all happened.
Oh my gosh.
As you can tell, when you get above like a certain amount of years, I tend to like check out and pretend it never happened.
I feel like you hit 10 years and you're just like, yeah, I'm good. You're grizzled.
Whatever.
You're grizzled
No,
and you're just getting through it. So
I'm getting through this.
One of the beautiful things of doing this show is getting to talk to all my different guest instructors of the women who have inspired and impacted them. And I think being that you're from my generation, you're I recall correctly, you are the first guest from my particular generation. Everyone else has been younger than us. And so
one of those.
Yeah. So it's really cool to get your perspective on things. Like, who are the women that motivated you to get in when we were, coming up the ranks over the years? So the floor is yours.
Well, I mean, one of my go-tos is definitely Sherry Martel. So as a kid, like, for whatever reason, like, I always absolutely like loved, and like, I know it's not like wrestling based, but I've always loved her. I've always loved everything she did. I loved her makeup. I loved the glitter makeup. I loved all of her outfits, how like insane her outfits were. Like, I really, like, as a kid, I wanted every single one of her outfits. I wanted to write weird things on my face and have it like in glitter makeup or something strange, or like, and like another thing, like, I absolutely like loved about her that I think is so important for like women's wrestling is like the aggression that she brought to the ring. True, she wasn't as fundamentally sound as, like, let's say a Medusa or something like that. However, if you were to step in the ring with Sherry Martel, she would give the impression that you were going to die that night. You were going to die. She was just so nasty and so aggressive. And like, she put so much energy into, every little thing that she did. I mean, she just looked very mean and very nasty in the ring. And she did it better than most women did during that time. And it was just something, like, I loved it. She was just like extra nasty, extra aggressive, extra insane, nothing to do with like, the fundamentals of like the in-ring wrestling, like, but I just loved everything, just everything else about her and that like she brought to the table. And like, clearly, like, I love her as like just an inspiration, for either like my look or my style or my aggression, or anytime I ever had to, bring like a nasty attitude into the ring, like, I always would be channeling like my Sherry Martel for sure. So she was clearly like one of like my first inspirations, probably like as like my alter self as a bad guy, because I was that was me watching wrestling before I ever thought I would get into wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would never watched wrestling as a kid thinking that I was going to do it, but I always watched wrestling with my dad, and I always loved her, and I just like loved everything she did, like anything and everything she did. Like I was 100% her team, no matter what. So she was my go-to, like, from the get-go.
Did you
I keep
see
going?
Did you see the Allison K Halloween costume?
Yes,
Martel.
so
good. So good.
I'm very upset I didn't do it first.
You should do it, and then we could do a comparison. Who did it better?
I would, but I want to do like two different looks. Like, we need to, like, it'd be great to do like a Sherry Martel tribute show with everybody comes out from one of her iconic looks.
Or, since we're stuck in a pandemic, what if we did the Sherry Martel challenge? And we encourage everybody to do a Sherry Martel look. We'll do the Sherry Martel challenge as a hashtag, and we'll get everybody to post it. You and I can build this, lady. You heard it here first, an exclusive woman's history.
Oh my God. I'm already
We're doing this.
Like, think of my favorite look right now.
We're doing this. I did it for a 80s party a few years ago, but I'm like, no. I'm doing this big. And it's all Allison and your fault. Yep.
This is sinking in. This is sinking in right now.
We'll discuss this more off camera.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's a lot to handle.
I know, but I think this would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
It would be. Yes. It would be. We have to thank Sienna for like getting the ball rolling on that. Or
I love that gal.
I do too.
So Sherry was a big motivator, and understandably so. She's fantastic. Right. Who made you want to actually get in the ring?
Well, that was a little bit different. I can't say that was more female influence. So, how I got started training in the ring you know, a second generation wrestler. My dad was a wrestler. My uncle had a school in San Bernardino, and it kind of started off as like more of a fun thing, and I never knew that it would like go in the direction it did. You know, so fast forward a few years later, you know, when I got my first contract to go to Japan and be there for 3 months, I would say like the women there were like my next biggest influences for sure. And that was definitely Lioness Asuka and uh Michiko Omakai. Like I loved like Michiko Omakai, like two completely different styles. Like Lioness Asuka had wow, like first of all, like what a legend she was, and it was just amazing. She was another person. I think I was so like inspired by her because she had the most incredible presence anytime she came into a locker room, and it was insane how like all the female audience fans were just like absolutely like googly eyed for her. They just like loved her, and she just, you know, she just had like an amazing like presence, and like and all of her stuff was like super solid and looked really good. Like she just seemed like a superhero, like completely unstoppable. And then you got like Michiko Homakai, who's like completely the opposite. She was like definitely like a total like badass, but very, very super feminine. You know, she's very tall, very lean, very lean. She had the most beautiful axe kicks I've ever seen. And like it was almost like my two favorites when I was out there in Arzeon were just like completely like opposite, like different styles. And like I can honestly say that those two women were like definitely influences of, you know, my career going forward after that. But I just loved everything that like those two women did. And then clearly obviously like most of my grappling experience came from Mariko Yoshida, who was, I can say, is my wrestling mom. You know, she was so gracious while I was out there. She was just so gracious and like checked on us every day, would come to the dojo, check on us every day, anywhere we wanted to go, anything we wanted to learn. Even it was like something simple like going to the grocery store or the 7-Eleven and learning how to count money. Like, you know, she took us in, and Mariko is just like a top-notch grappler. I remember we had her come in to the Bay Area, and we had her like work with the guys, and she just like put all the guys to shame, and it was just amazing. And I was on my high school wrestling team, so I was an amateur. I had some amateur wrestling experience, so you know, so to be able to train with Mariko in Japan and kind of grow that a little bit more, you know, really like made me happy and really made me love wrestling. So I can honestly say that like 2002 was like a very like mind-opening game changer where you know, it was like Lioness Asuka style, and then Mariko Yoshida with the grappling, and then like Michiko Omakai, you know, with the axe kicks and her presence and like overall look and stuff. Like those three like definitely inspired like a lot of my career.
Oh, do you still talk to Yoshida? Because I remember
I do.
when she was here through Vegas, we actually cooked a meal together, you, me, and
We
her.
did. We
And
did.
oh, and I remember that when I went over, because after Arceon folded and became A to
Mm-hmm.
Z, I went
Mm-hmm.
over. And
Mm-hmm.
she took me out for my first Korean barbecue ever, and that was 2003, July 2003.
Oh my God, it was like
And
a year after I was there.
yeah, I remember because they
Yeah.
asked me about you when I was over in the dojo, and she took me out for Korean barbecue. She wouldn't take any money, and I promised her, I go, one day
Oh.
you're going to come to America and I'm going to buy you dinner. And we ended up just making dinner together. And then she worked on my neck because remember, my neck was bothering me that day. But she definitely looked out for me there. And I was super duper grateful. And I just, yeah, I watched all her stuff. I mean, I had all those tapes of her, and I was like, she's so cool, and she's got cool gear, and you know, the little stuff in her hair. And I was like, I loved Yoshida.
Oh, I wish we knew we were talking about this because when she was staying here, um, it, it was interesting. I wish I gotta look it up now, but it was really interesting. Like I think one of the questions we asked her was like, what's the largest crowd that you ever like worked in front of? And it was like, whatever this show was, it was like the largest crowd recorded for a wrestling event like ever. Like that was like bigger than any of the WrestleManias or whatever. Because we actually had to look up this event, and then we just saw like how many people like attended it, and we're just like, oh my god, like she has had so many like been to like and been a part of so many historic events and had a lot of historic matches. And it's funny, like in the wrestling business, like when you become friends with people, you don't really like look at that at all, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, like she's my best friend, looked out with me. Yeah, she comes stay over here. We do this, whatever. I forget that she was part of like, you know, a lot of like major events in pro wrestling, you know, in Japan in general. So
Yeah.
I need to like look that up again. But
And I can
that
say
was fun when she was here.
she was a major influence on me. Like when
Good.
I came back in 2000.
Right answer.
I know, but I mean, how could you spend time with her and not be influenced by her? She's just wow. I mean, there are so many amazing Japanese talents, but the fact that not only is she fantastic, but she was a great person too.
Right.
That really like drew me in, because my first trip to Japan was really scary. I only went with like 7 days notice.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I was a last minute fill-in for their debut
Did
show.
you already have a
87.
passport? Yeah, there's
I
no
did.
way. Yeah.
So one of the first things I was taught in wrestling is, if I'm going to do this, get a passport, because you never know when an opportunity is going to come up. And in 2001, I was supposed to move to Puerto Rico. And, you know, obviously it's part of America, but I still have a passport. And then there was talk of me getting a chance to go to Korea in 2002. So at that point, I'm like, well, I'm going to have a passport. Had a passport. Korea didn't work out. I ended up going in 2005 instead of 2002. But yeah, I got the call for Japan. They're like, do you have a passport? I said, yeah. They're like, can you go? I go, yeah. They're like, cool. That night I had a flight ready to go. Pack your stuff. You're going to Japan. And so I had 7 days to prepare it. I went by myself. The other guy, Jing, showed up the next day because her flight was a day later. It was just me and her and I think we spent 5 or 6 days there. Pretty much.
Did you guys stay in the dojo?
No, they gave us a hotel near the dojo.
You're kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave us a hotel, which surprised me, because I was ready to stay in the dojo. I'm like, whatever you need me to do, you need me to clean the ring, I'm going to clean the ring, you know? And I took my meals in the dojo.
I was totally in the dojo with Taylor from Tough Enough.
I remember, because when she came back, I was one of her first matches on American soil. And
I didn't know that.
And I was like, I don't know. I was kind of, I might have been cold at first, because I was like, oh, here we go.
Right.
I'm sitting here busting my butt, hiding my real last name. And then Taylor's going to come in, and because she's from Tough Enough, they're all going to like love her. And so I kind of was a little stiff and stoic. And then I met her and I was like, oh my God, she's so nice. Oh my gosh, she really cares about wrestling. Okay. And then boom, defrosted. But I might have been a little frosty at first, but I was like, I'm so glad I met her, because she was so nice. Like, she had cool stories about Japan, but you could tell that she genuinely wanted to learn. She wasn't like flash in the pan. Oh, I've done Tough Enough, blah, blah. There was no ego there, just eagerness to learn. And I was like, I like you. We did a bunch of stuff together on the East Coast, and then she went back to the West Coast, and she got married, then she retired. And
I should reach out to her.
Reach out.
Yeah, no, you're
what's up, because I would. Yeah, because she ended up being a super cool chick. I remember we went out for cheesesteaks, and that's where I truly relaxed, because back then I loved my cheesesteaks. Yeah, I think we went to we took her to like Tony Luke's or something.
Oh, okay.
Talked about how she wanted to be more than just Tough Enough, and I was like, I can get down with this kid. I like this girl.
Yeah.
So
I wish we knew each other better then, because I totally would have picked for her. Like, when her and I first met, I think we both had connecting flights, but we sat next to each other on our connecting flight to Japan. So we got to know each other. Yeah. So we got to know each other on the plane over there. and we shared a room in the dojo. And yeah, like everything you said, absolutely right. And like she worked just as hard, if not harder than me during practice. That, you know, we did practice all the time. And um I mean, she's definitely a part of like my favorite memories of my favorite time of my wrestling career, for sure. Like I miss her so much.
Oh, we definitely got
Yeah,
to hunt her down and be like, bro, your name came up. Let's
I know,
be
right?
buddies. Let's be buddies again.
I
I mean,
know, we have like our favorite like memories, because like this was before like iPhones and stuff like that. And you know, we had a routine where um gosh, it was so funny. Like we had a routine, was like right after practice, her and I, we shared a bike. Like they gave us a bicycle that we were able to ride. So like we had to like double on the bike, and we rode the bike to the train station. And normally at the train stations, it's almost kind of like an outdoor mall. There's a lot of businesses around. And we went, and there was an internet cafe that we found. And we love that internet cafe because that's how we were able to talk with our loved ones back home. And we always tried to get there as soon as possible, because a certain time in Japan would be like, you know, right before bedtime in the United States. So that's how we'd like, you know, get home as fast as we can, like logging on to like AOL Instant Messenger.
yep. I remember those internet cafes, man. They were a
No, internet
blessing.
cafes. And then like and then I remember like another reason why we love that internet cafe, because in Japan, for the most part, a lot of people don't realize this, but for the most part, there's no free refills at
Oh,
at restaurants. Like if you order like a
right.
soda at a restaurant, you can't, it's not a free refill. So like at the internet cafe, like they had like a soda machine with free refills, and they had a little vending machine that had like the curry like cup of noodles, and that was like me and hers favorite. So like our jam was like the internet cafe, the yellow curry cup of noodles, and they had hot water at the, you know, next to the vending machine or whatever, like get our cup of noodles ready to go, get our Coca-Cola, you know, and go dial up on AOL to talk to our loved ones back home. Like it was such a routine.
That's bringing back so many memories, because I remember there was an internet cafe across the street from my first hotel in Japan, and I would sit there
I
and I
wonder
would
if
just
it's the
drink
same one
Coke.
that I used to go to.
I wonder.
I
I
wonder.
don't know.
Was it on the second floor?
Yes. And like,
Oh,
okay, and then right around the corner was a 7-Eleven.
well, that's tough to say. There's 7-Elevens
There's
everywhere down
7-Elevens
there.
everywhere. I wonder if we used to hang out at the same internet cafe just like a year apart.
Do you remember what train station was that?
No, because the train scared me. Because I kept screwing up the trains in Chicago. And I was like, well, I'm going to go to Japan. I'm going to screw up the trains there. So I avoided the trains very much. I walked everywhere. I walked a lot that week.
Oh, how dare you?
And I
It's
heard their
not that
train system
bad.
is easy. Yeah, no, I'm a big one. It was my first
Oh
time
my God.
abroad by myself. I was scared. So,
That's true. That's true.
yeah.
So you went to the internet cafe.
Yep. And I would drink Coke and just sit on the internet and
This
talk
is
to
the
people
same
at
one.
home. And I would just kept going for those free refills, free refills. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'd have my snacks there. Yep. I lived at that internet cafe for those days.
Oh my God. Now I want to know if it was the same one.
I know.
It might
Oh,
be.
so long ago. I can't even, I
I know.
probably have no way of finding out the name either, but
Was it close to, were you close to the dojo?
yeah,
Ish?
maybe like 10, 15 minutes.
It might have been the same one, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I remember it was definitely the second floor because I had to take an
Yeah.
escalator to get up to it.
Oh no, we had to go upstairs.
No, I think this one had an escalator, and it was very brightly
Ooh,
lit. It kind
luxury.
of reminded me of a casino a little bit.
Why? Was it next to like a pachinko station or something?
It might have been
Pachinko was really popular.
back then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh
it
my
still is,
gosh.
but yeah.
Like my neurons are
That's funny.
firing all these little random
There
memories
are
now
all
that
these
we're talking about
random
Japan.
memories that were like, yeah. And you know what's so funny that we're doing like this podcast? Because like these are conversations we would never have in person.
No,
So it's funny that we're having this like on here.
because really, we don't talk a lot about wrestling when we hang out together.
Nope, sure don't.
Yeah. We talk about other stuff, you know?
Yeah, we don't
Our
have
housewife
everything else
life.
but wrestling.
But now we've got to. Now we have now we share custody of our wrestling child.
Oh my gosh, do we ever?
I know.
So
I,
funny.
I like to pretend I had abs like that back in the day.
Oh my God. I know, right?
When
It's okay.
when I lived in England, I didn't have abs, but they were flat. But they weren't
Mhm.
they weren't like
I
ripped.
remember.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I
got,
remember you had a cute line.
yeah, I was pretty lean
Mhm.
there for a little bit, but it wasn't a healthy lean. So
Right.
yeah, now I'm just here
We're
existing.
both just here.
I'm
2020.
literally smelling my soup off camera going, ooh, this smells so good.
I'm sorry. Am I
No,
keeping you from
why?
dinner?
No, no, man. I'm so happy because for those who are watching or listening at home, I asked Melissa to do this back in August and then forgot that I asked her and then popped up on her again recently going, yo, so I do the show. She goes, the one you asked me to do in August. And I'm like, yeah, that's the one. You still want to do
Right.
it? She's like,
I
yeah, ding
know.
dong.
And I thought, and I was just like, yeah. And I saw you doing like your podcast with all these other girls. I was like, oh, okay. Thanks.
No, girl, it's that Swiss cheese brain of mine. That's my Swiss cheese brain.
I
Because
guess so.
I
Because I was
asked,
wondering why. It's like, why would you ask me first, like 6 months ago, and then like have all these other interviews after I told you yes?
because in my brain, I totally forgot. And I know you don't do interviews a whole lot. That's why I was like, oh man. And then when you like smarten me back up, you're like, you dummy, you already asked me and I already said yes. I've been waiting for you to pick a date. I'm like,
Right.
oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Now
I was
just,
wondering. I was thinking. I was like, oh, like what did I do to upset you? Jeez.
no, nothing, nothing. I'm
Like, girl, like I haven't been out. We haven't
just
talked.
like a
Like
No,
nothing's
I'm just a
happened.
goofball. I'm just a goofball that forgets. Because I sent a
All good.
wave of like feelers out and then I had like a ton and then it started to slow down. And then I started going back through and go, wait a second. Did I ask this person? Did I ask this person? Because I don't want to annoy people and be like, yeah, you want, because not everybody wants to do stuff like this. So I'm really glad you did.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, you know me, I'm kind of like, I'm very selective on stuff like this, but of course I do it for you.
Oh, you're the best. I love you.
I love you
Aw.
too. You're the
So,
best.
so you said in the very beginning that you're not retired yet. Does that mean we still have a opportunity to see you, Melissa? And if we do, what's that dream match?
Oh, I don't know about dream matches, but no, I just haven't done anything, you know, in 2020 because of COVID.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time, "Are you retired?" Whatever, and it's just like, no, I'm playing it safe.
Yeah.
So it just really depends on, you know, what the economy is going to be like and what the health and state of our nation is going to be like before I make any decisions about, you know, getting back out there, you know, being around people. You know, I'm just grateful that I'm able to, you know, be in a position that I am to where I can play it safe and play it safe for my parents, for, you know, my in-laws and my parents, because those are the only people I'm interacting with. And I am perfectly fine with that, like health and safety first.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and like I said, like I have my, you know, our shared student and a couple other students, and you know, and that's how I'm staying involved. I'd like to get in like, I would like to find like more opportunities, you know, to get involved, you know, while being at home, doing the best I can. Um, but I'm just very, at the same, as chaotic as 2020 has been, it hasn't been a completely terrible year either. There's been so many positives that's come out of this year as well. So it's just been an insane journey this year. It's just been a crazy, insane journey. But you know, I'm very, very hopeful for, you know, what's to, you know, come in 2021. You know, I certainly don't think I can handle another 2020, but you know.
Yeah. I don't think any of us could. I'm like, I'm
For
ready.
real.
I'm ready for some change once we can do it safely. So, well,
I,
Melissa,
I I mean, I am too.
I'm so happy to have gotten this time with you because I really do miss you and
I
and
miss
our
you
hangs.
too.
And
And
once it's
it,
safe, I'm coming over.
yeah, I need
Yeah.
you over here. Come over to
Oh,
hang out and, you know,
oh,
get our socializing, whatever you call it, back to
yeah.
normal.
Get our social skills back to good. But before I let you
Yeah,
go,
all I'm doing is just painting everything around here.
Yeah, when I get Yakatomi Plaza going, I'm gonna need your decorative eye.
Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be
I
fun.
might need that. You might need to help me. It's that bedroom. I told you off camera that the dream bedroom. I might need your input to help me get there. My poor husband. He won't care,
It's
but
okay. We'll find
yeah.
we'll find photos. We'll
Yeah.
find photos, we'll find the inspiration,
Oh yeah.
and we'll make it happen.
I'm gonna send you that inspiration when we're done here. But before we
We'll do it.
go, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to plug whatever social media you would like. This camera, just this camera. It's all yours. Anything you want to plug, let us know.
Well, of course, always www.clickwrestle.com. It's, you want to talk about history or her story, like literally all of our her stories are on clickwrestle.com. Like our entire careers are on there. So clickwrestle.com for sure. And then clearly for all of your updated female wrestling updates, divadirt.com. Diva-dirt.com.
I was gonna ask, is there a dash, a dot, all one word? Okay.
Yeah, no,
Diva
it's diva-dirt. Yeah.
dirt.com. All right.
Diva-dirt.com. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Melissa. I am so glad we finally got to do this. I won't
Me
forget
too.
again. Any last thoughts before we get going and go have dinner separately?
Oh,
I
well,
know,
I
but
wish we were having
emotionally
dinner
connected.
together.
I know. We'll have to make some food. I'm gonna teach you how to make really amazing Brussels sprouts.
Well, I'll just make them over here when we can.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be
Awesome.
good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
All
much.
right.
I'm so happy. You guys, this has been another episode of Women's Herstory with Allison Danger. I'm so glad you're here. Please make sure you like, subscribe, share, retweet. Let's get the word out there so everybody can hear this. Please remember, wash your hands, wear a mask, love one another, and be sure to tune in for your next episode. Have a good one.